Okay, so we're going to talk about the structure of the bone. And so we have what is referred to as compact bone here. So we have compact bone. And this is what you see when you look at the outside of a bone. So this right here in your handouts, this would be my compact bone. Now, bones are not solid, and the reason for that is that they would be too heavy if they were completely solid, compact bone. And so we have a different type of bone, which is called the spongy bone. So that's what we see in between this flat bone. So if I looked at where this bone is found, this is an example of a flat bone, and it is actually a parietal bone. It is in the skull. And so our skull is pretty heavy. It's protective, it protects, right? But it does have spongy bone in between two layers of compact bone. Now, the other interesting thing about our bone is that it is living and that it is also surrounded by connective tissue. And so we have this layer of connective tissue called the periosteum. And this is on the outside of the bone. This layer of dense connective tissue, periosteum. If I look at that word, peri means around, ostia means bone. So this is a type of dense connective tissue. So you ask yourself, like, how do things attach to your bones? They actually don't attach directly to the bone. They attach to the connective tissue that covers the bone. And so that on the outside is the periosteum. We also have the endosteum. So this is connective tissue on the inside of bone. So lining the inside of your bones and these little spaces is the endosteum, and that is also connective tissue in origin. It is a connective tissue. And we have these spaces created in the spongy bone, and the spaces are created by these extensions of bone. And these have a name. They're like girders. They're very strong. They make the bone very strong, and they are called trabeculae. Trabeculae. And that's an E, so it's Trabeculae, right? Trabeculae. Okay, so that creates these spaces, and this actually is a very a strong architecture to our bones, having these internal spaces and having these almost like steel girders inside of the bone. So this is not just found in the flat bones, but it's also found in other bones, in all bones. And so this is an example of, oh, what is this? This would be looks to me like it is the femur, okay? So this shows that connective tissue. So I will label this. This is my periosteum that is surrounding. This connective tissue is not cartilage because it actually has nerves in yellow here and blood vessels. So it is vascular. So we also have, notice, we have nerves and blood vessels inside the compact bone. So the compact bone is not dead. It is alive and it is receiving nutrients from the environment. And then in the spongy bone, we also have blood vessels and nerves innervating that particular tissue. So if we look at this structure of the bone, we see the compact bone has these circular arrangements. So the circular arrangements in compact bones are called osteons. So this would be like this whole one right here. This would be an osteon. The osteon have a central canal. So this is my central canal. This had a name that I learned called the Haversian Canal, but I think in your book they just call it the Central Canal, which is a little bit easier to remember. And this is what has the blood supply. Now, there's also these circular arrangements of collagen fibers that are running in different directions. And these circular arrangements are called lamellae. And this is what they've done right here, is that they've kind of broken up the lamellae. So this is a lamellae. And they do call compact bone, sometimes they call it lamellar bone. So when you see this word, lamellar bone is the same thing as compact bone. Okay. So we have these circular arrangements called lamellae, and then these little spaces around the lamellae are called lacunae. And within the lacunae, we have cells called osteocytes. So osteocytes in this structure sit inside spaces called lacunae. And they have cytoplasmic extensions that extend into this matrix of, it has organic molecules in it, but it also has minerals, calcium phosphate in it, but they extend their cytoplasmic extensions via canaliculi. So they have cytoplasmic extensions into the matrix via structures, spaces called canal, like canal, right? Canaliculi. So that actually provides the space that those cytoplasmic extensions extend into. So what you see when you look at this diagram at a greater magnification is you might see a space. Actually, let's say that this is my cell, right? And it is sitting in a space. So let's draw that. This is a space within the matrix. So this is important because your cells cannot live in like solid matrix, right? If there was like minerals, like a wall, they wouldn't be able to get nutrients and get rid of waste. These osteocytes are living in your bone, right? So from this lacunae, they send out these cytoplasmic, oops, I didn't mean to do that. They send out cytoplasmic extensions. Let's put back my cell. And these cytoplasmic extensions kind of go like this into the matrix. And they lay down the matrix. And so these living cells inside of your bone, they are located there. And all of this anatomy, this histology, this microscopic anatomy allows for the bone to be living tissue to break down matrix, to rebuild matrix, and to get nutrients and get rid of nutrients. Your bone can rebuild itself, and it does rebuild itself throughout your life.